Hello viewers, welcome to this video. Right, in this video we gonna be looking at Kubernetes log monitoring with Rancher. So in my previous video we set up Rancher, we imported our Kubernetes cluster, and then we saw how to deploy, how to enable monitoring, and I've got my dashboard. So this is where we left in our previous video, and we've got the Grafana dashboards and everything, and we did that by going to the tools and monitoring. We enabled monitoring here. Alright, so this time we are going to enable logging. So by enabling logging, we can centralize logging. We can collect all the logs from all the pods and containers in one place, which will be Elasticsearch. So I will be running an Elasticsearch and a Kibana container externally in my host machine, not inside the Kubernetes cluster, and I'll be using Rancher to set up logging. So it's going to so first choose the cluster that you want to manage, that you want to enable logging for from your Rancher dashboard. So mine is just me, so that's the cluster. And under tools, I'm going to click on logging. What it's going to do is it's going to install Fluentd as a daemon set on all the worker nodes, and then we can configure the Fluentd to send the logs either to Elasticsearch, Splunk, Kafka, syslog, or to another Fluentd. So that's what we will be doing in this video. But before this, we need to set up our Elasticsearch, where we will be running Elasticsearch container as well as a Kibana container for visualization. So let's do that one first. Okay, so I'm going to clone my ELK repository from GitHub. Git clone https github.com just me and Opensource /ELK. I'll put a link to this GitHub repository in the video description if you want to download. Okay, so and then cd to ELK, cd to Docker. Okay, so we've got some Docker Compose files, and let's say let's use this one. Okay, move Docker Compose version 7.1.1.yaml to Docker Compose.yaml, vi Docker Compose.yaml. So previously I used 7.1.1 version, but I'm going to use the latest, which is 7.6.0, and similarly for Kibana I'm going to use 7.6.0, which is the latest version. Okay, and we are exposing it to port 9200 on my host machine, and 5601 again, it's the port for Kibana. Okay, let's save that. Docker Compose up -d. But before doing this, you have to bear in mind, if you try to do Docker Compose now, the Kibana container will be running fine, but your Elasticsearch container might not be running fine. So if you followed my Elasticsearch related videos, not in this Kubernetes playlist, but I've got a separate Elasticsearch playlist, there is one thing that you need to do. You need to set a kernel parameter, sudo sysctl -w vm.maxmapcount. So Elasticsearch recommends this setting 262.144. so you will have to run this. So this will apply to your live system, but if you want to make it permanent, so right now if I reboot this machine, it will lose this configuration. If you want to make it permanent, you need to edit that. You need to edit etc sysctl.conf and add this line, vm.maxmapcount equals 262.144. okay, so now we are good to start our containers. Docker Compose up -d. Okay, Elasticsearch and Kibana, we can do Docker Compose logs -f. Okay, it's bringing up the Elasticsearch container, and then it's also bringing up the Kibana container. Let's give it few more seconds, and if I do Docker Compose ps, Okay, so Elasticsearch and Kibana containers are up 9200 5601, and if I do netstat minus nltp, and if I grep for Docker, you can see 80 and 443 for the Rancher container, and we've got 9200 for Elasticsearch and 5601 for Kibana. Docker PS, yep, we have Kibana, Elasticsearch, and Rancher. So now we have our Elastic stack running, Elasticsearch and Kibana. So now we can go to Rancher and configure login. But before that, let's see if it's actually working. So if I go to localhost colon 9200, maybe I should use HTTP instead of HTTPS. Okay, so if you see this, your Elasticsearch endpoint is working fine. So now I'm going to check the Kibana endpoint, HTTP localhost colon 5601. Yep, so our Kibana is also running fine. It's loading the Kibana dashboard right now. Okay, cool, dismiss, and it's all looking good. At the moment, it won't have any data. If I go to index management and look at the index patterns, I don't see any index patterns, so nothing right now. But when we enable logging from Rancher, it's going to create an index pattern for us. Okay, so where are we? Let's go to Rancher, and now I'm going to select Elasticsearch. Okay, so the Elasticsearch endpoint is going to be my host machine, http colon 192.168.1.81, which is the IP address of my host machine where I'm running my Elasticsearch and Kibana Docker container. So 192.168.1.81 colon 9200. So this is the endpoint for Elasticsearch. So if you've got XPack security enabled, I've done a separate video on how to run Elasticsearch with XPack security so that you can have username and password authentication. But the Docker container that I've started is not running with security, so I don't need to pass username or password. Index pattern, I'm going to leave it just me, or just a prefix. When it creates the index pattern in Elasticsearch, you will see this name, or if you want to give any particular name, you can give it. So the generated index will be just me dash and the date format, which we selected as year, month, and the date. So this is what we'll be seeing in our Elasticsearch. Okay, SSL configuration, nothing. I'm not having any SSL configuration, so now I can test my configuration. This is just to make sure that we can talk to our Elasticsearch container, Elasticsearch endpoint. So test, settings validated. We're going to click on save. Okay, that's saved, which means our logging infrastructure has been set up, so Fluentd should be running. And if I go to system, yep, so cattle logging, so that's the new namespace. So when we enabled monitoring in the previous video, it created the cattle Prometheus namespace for us. So this time it has created cattle logging namespace with 2 deployments. No, those are daemon sets, because you can see here 1 per node. And we've got log aggregator, and we've also got Fluentd. And if we go to the terminal, kubectl -n cattle logging get all. Okay, so we've got 3 containers for log aggregator and 3 containers for Fluentd, and we've got 2 daemon set, and the container is getting created at the moment. So let's wait for it to complete, and then we can go to Kibana dashboard, and then we can create a new index pattern. Yes, okay, I'm gonna pause the video for a few minutes and then come back when all these containers are running. Alright, so now I can see all the containers are running fine. Okay, so now it's time to go to Kibana to create a new index pattern. By now we should have got a new index created for us. So if I go to Kibana and if I reload index patterns, index management, yeah, just me 2020-216, that's there. Index pattern, let's create an index pattern. Okay, if I start typing just me, that's the index pattern. And next step, time filter, I'm going to select at timestamp, create index pattern. It's creating the index pattern, and then we should be able to see our logs coming into the Elasticsearch from inside the Kubernetes cluster. So all the pods and the containers running in our Kubernetes clusters on all our worker nodes are sending the logs through Fluentd to the Elasticsearch container running in my host machine, and we are accessing it using the Kibana container. Okay, so here is the visualization. If you expand it, discover. Okay, cool. So that's it. So we can see all the logs coming in, and if you want, you can filter the logs now. If you want to filter logs for any particular pod you're interested in, you can do that. So in search, if I do pod.name, kubernetes.pod.name equals okay, I thought it will auto-populate the pod name, maybe here, pod.name, kubernetes.pod.name. Okay, down here you can see rancher logging Fluentd. 45% of the logs are coming from this particular pod, and so on. Okay, so we should be able to find it here. Kubernetes.pod_name. Okay, expected value white space. That's okay. Oh, I don't know why I'm seeing that error. Okay, let's start again. pod_name. Exist in any form. pod.name equals some value equals rancher. Let's see if that works. Yep, that works. Kubernetes.pod.name, anything that starts with rancher, that's fine. Yep, that's logging. You can go ahead and create visualization, you can create dashboards, whatever you want. Alright, so that's all I wanted to show you in this video. So tools, logging. In the previous video we saw monitoring, now we saw logging. Hope you found this video useful. Please give it a try. If you've got any questions, please let me know. I'll be happy to help. And thank you so much for your time watching this video. I will see you all in my next video. And don't forget to share this with your friend and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Bye-bye.